Usopp, one of the first Straw Hat members, a man who starts off as a weakling and as a coward with a dream of being brave, becoming a warrior. Throughout the story he faces situations where he's clearly the underdog. He's struck by fear, but at the end he somehow manages to come out alive. Through these events he learns to not only survive, but learns how to deal with danger and becomes better at it. His strength lies in his sniping skill, his ingenuity, his ability to lie as he can bluff his way through a win. We are now in Elbaf. Currently up to chapter 1140, we have gotten suspenseful moments and if you ask me, has the potential of not only becoming the greatest One Piece arc, but maybe even the greatest in Shonen. We have a beautiful island with a fascinating population and a rich history. We have massive plot points related to Shanks, a fan favorite. We have cool reveals, we have lore about the Void Century and potentially even before. I am honestly mind blown by these chapters. From my view, the chapters are flawless. But there's still an issue lingering in my mind. Usopp, whose dream is tied to that island, has not done anything worthwhile or made an interesting comment yet. Obviously the arc just started, we are now in the build-up phase. Am I being overdramatic? Yeah, probably. Oda has plenty of time to make interesting Usopp content, but he has to do it in this arc. For many people he has been so underwhelming to the point where fans call him useless, like Sakura from Naruto. While I don't think he's useless, I am losing massive interest in him. But why? Like I said, Usopp has always been afraid when confronted. What is cooler about him is that he fights through his fears and manages to find a way to pull his weight. Ever since the time skip, he has become rather dull. Keep in mind, prior to the time skip, I liked Usopp more than Zoro and Sanji, the fan favorites. Let's look at him pre-time skip. In his introduction arc, we see Usopp standing up against powerful opponents, even though he's scared, weak and doesn't have the support from the village, not even from his best friend. We see him still fight against those pirates and prepare against them for the sake of his friend, for the sake of his integrity and pride. Now, as luck would have it, he meets Zoro, Nami and Luffy, who fight with and for him. Later on, he decides to go be part of the Straw Hats and embarks on this journey. Here we see Usopp make the first big step on his journey of strength. Next, we see him fight in Arlong Park against the fishmen. In that fight, he seemingly has no chance and no way to prepare. First, he thinks of abandoning, but then Usopp is resolved to fight. He tries to follow the footsteps of Luffy and Zoro, and he ends up beating a fisherman. During Alabasta, he fought strong people with Chopper. While yes, he didn't fight the strongest, he still fought strong people. In that fight, we see Usopp taking the lead and be a leader even though he's weaker. In Annie's lobby, Water 7, we see Usopp reaching his breaking point. He feels as if Luffy is discarding the Going Merry too easily and also maybe even him, as if he doesn't care. He has an attachment to the Going Merry, even though there's nothing he could do to save it. Because of this, we see Usopp fight for the Going Merry against Luffy, and for many people, it's his best fight, and I understand. The way I understood this fight is that the Going Merry represents Usopp's fear. Usopp is afraid of being discarded the moment he becomes useless. He's scared that they don't care about him, not seeing that they do care about him. There's more to it, but that's enough for now. After losing, he tries to go his own way, but at the end he still fights for the sake of the Straw Hats and was pushed to the limit. He also swallows his pride so that he can help Luffy. In all of these fights, we see Usopp evolve and get one step closer to his dream. What kind of major development do we have ever since the time skip? His greatest moment is during Dressrosa, when he awakened the power of observation haki and saved Law and Luffy. It's a good moment, but besides that, what did he do? Maybe I misremember major moments, but if that's it, then I'm sorry to say, but for over a decade, he just didn't do anything meaningful in my eyes. Even during Wano, which I would say is the most entertaining and hype arc of the series, since we see the Straw Hats go push beyond their limits, was Usopp's part the most unmemorable. In Elbaf, it's now or never. I am afraid Oda will not do something special for Usopp. I still believe in him delivering since, well, it's Oda. After non-stop complaining, I want to propose ideas which Oda can continue Usopp's story. To be clear, I'm not arrogant to think I'm even near Oda's writing or will ever be. I'm just going to give ideas that sound cool, which Oda might do. He will obviously write it better than I can even think. The first idea is Usopp will fight Loki. This sounds outlandish and I have my issues with it. We know Usopp is searching the answer to the question of how do I become a brave warrior. Loki, when tied up against the Holy Knights, showed a small glimpse of what he thinks makes a warrior. Funnily enough, it's to just accept how you perish, an ideology that Usopp vehemently disagrees with. During Wano, we see his determination to keep on living no matter what and to not just accept it. That shows a clear contrast between Usopp and Loki, potentially tying them together in this arc. Will this lead to a fight between them? Maybe. Oda did build up Loki's reputation as a monstrous powerhouse that only top tiers can handle, but would it be outlandish to think Oda will give Usopp such a big evolution? Not necessarily. It might even be the case where it's not a normal 1v1, but maybe Usopp with preparations can handle Loki, or there might be a 2v1, who knows? My second idea is Usopp will fight against many Holy Knights. This also seems wild, but I actually like this route. After trying to pressure Loki into becoming a Holy Knight and failing, the next plan is to take the children of the warriors and making Holy Knights out of them, starting with one. Out of all these children, we know Colin is the only one who even shows a willingness in becoming strong with a stubborn attitude. It makes the most sense if they take him first. Colin, like Usopp, wants to be strong, but is too young and lacks experience. Usopp is his opposite. He has experience and maturity, but unlike the giant Colin, is weak. Between these two, Oda can figure out how Usopp and Colin can evolve together. Usopp can rely on Colin's strength to help him out, whereas Colin can rely on Usopp to make the plans, make the calls and be the one confronting them directly. In these battles, we might see a growth of bravery and strength inside Usopp and maturity, experience and strength in Colin. These are the ideas where I can see Oda continue Usopp. Do you agree with me that Usopp needs to do something in Elbaf, or am I underselling Usopp's achievements? How do you see the story continue for Usopp? Let me know in the comments.